Okay, raise your hand if you know a female electrician. Yeah, I bet all your hands are down. But after this episode, you will. And goddamn, did I get a good one. Okay, she is... Oh, did you hear that whistle? She's fabulous. You know, she's rocking some tooth gems. She has a fun 90s hair color. And she is so badass. Going into this episode, I was like, how the hell am I going to come up with questions about, quote, electricity? But there were things I needed to know. I also needed to know the social aspect. You know, what is it like being a female electrician? Are you getting hazed? Turns out, yes. And you know what she said when we left? She told me, I tell everyone you can pick up a 12-foot ladder. Now, did I think that was like some metaphor for, you know, being able to push through life? Turns out it literally, everyone can pick up a 12-foot ladder. It's you got to shimmy your shoulder and then kick it and then put it kind of perpendicular to your body. But the point is, if you've ever wondered who is setting up these fire alarms in these corporate ass buildings, now you know. Now you can put a face to the name. So go unplug your curling iron and welcome to Open Wide. Okay, Miss Taylor. How are we feeling?
Chill.
Yeah?
It's Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. You're looking so darling.
You too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm giving like big old Jort divorcee vibe right now. I will say I just went to Tahoe and my friend's mom cornered me and told me I need to dress more feminine. So
I feel you. Yeah, I'm having a bit of an identity crisis right now, but I don't get to dress up very often.
no, now's the time. Okay, I have you here as an electrician.
Yes.
And I have a lot of like logistics questions, but I need to know the who, what, where, when, why.
Okay.
How we got started, the whole 9 yards. I think we need to start with the why and then the how. So what brought you into, is it electrics? Electricity? Electrical?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm off to a rough start.
I'm with you.
Rough start. Okay.
My dad was in the same union that I'm in currently,
Okay.
IBEW Local 11. He was an electrician for 40 years. I didn't really realize it was something I could do
Okay.
until he really pushed me into it.
When you were younger, was it ever a field that you were like, maybe I'll get into this? Or did it always feel other than?
It felt a little other just because I also had my mom trying to get me to be a nurse at the same time, which is obviously more of like a feminine career.
Is she a nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
So they were both just like kind of wrestling with me, you know, like be an electrician, be a nurse.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ugh, but
What did you want to be when you were younger?
I had no idea.
Who does?
I didn't know what I wanted to do till I was like 23. At first, like when I first started getting into like considering trades, I was like, I don't want to be like my dad. Like I was like being stubborn. I was being a brat. I was like, I want to be a carpenter. And so I went to carpenter school for the Carpenters Union in San Francisco. I was like 21 years old, moved up there by myself, lived out of like hostels and Airbnbs, just like driving 40 miles to work just because that's what I could afford. I couldn't afford to live in the city by myself.
Okay.
And
so you were in school and working at the same time.
Yeah, it's like an apprenticeship program.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Are trade schools expensive?
And both of the ones that I've been in are free.
Oh.
They pay you to go to school.
How does that work? How do they make money?
Cheap labor. You start at a lower rate, and then as you move up semesters, you get raises.
Oh, so when you were working through the school.
Yeah, for the Carpenters Union or the Electricals Union.
Okay.
So for the Electrical Union, you don't have to pay for anything. You start working right away, and you make like $19, $20 an hour, give or take. I believe that's the starting wage. And then for me, I went to night school. So 2 nights a week from 5 to 8 p.m. I would be in school, and then I would work Monday through Friday. So after work, I would go straight to school.
Oh, okay. And this was when you were carpentering?
Same thing, but the carpenters was a little different. Like, they just had 2 straight weeks at a time of school.
Okay.
Where you wouldn't be working, and then they would let you collect unemployment.
So wait, were you in carpenter school and electrician school at the same time?
No, I did carpenters at first, and then I didn't like it. It wasn't for me.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what, Dad, you're right.
Stop. He won.
Which he loves to hear.
Okay. So and what was it about carpentry school where you were like, I'm out. This is not for me?
Well, when I first started working, it was honestly cakewalk. I got hired for a contractor that just had me babysitting subcontractors all day. So I was working graveyard, so I was making double the pay.
Wait, graveyard?
Yeah, like nights.
So, but what work was to be done at
babysitting
night?
Other contractors doing their job. So the contractor like runs the whole project.
Why did I think, okay, in my head I thought a contractor's employees would only be working in the day. So like what were you surveilling at night? Like were people actually building homes?
A lot of job sites run 24 hours.
What?
Yeah, they have people like, you know, hanging boxes for, you know, stuff to be installed the next day, or grinding floors, or
wait, you're blowing
cleaning,
my mind.
like, yeah.
And is that generally with commercial sites?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I've only ever done commercial.
You only do commercial,
yeah.
No residential. Even I'm dumb.
Electrical.
Electrical work, you also only do commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, whoa. Okay. So
it's
then
crazy.
You're like, it's time to bounce, time to get into Dad's field. And
yeah.
Were you also doing that in San Francisco?
No, I came straight home with my tail between my legs, crying.
You're like, will you love me still?
I was like, Dad, you were right.
No. Okay, and then what was that school like?
That was the night school one that I was doing. So I started working right away, just doing the night school twice a week, and then it was rough. It was rough because I was living in Corona at the time.
Okay.
And then working in LA. So the commute alone was deadly.
I mean, that's probably 3 hours of driving a day.
At least.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, you're tired. And
you're working in the night school and then, ooh.
Yeah, and you're getting out of school at like 8 p.m., going home just to go to bed immediately because you have to work at 5 in the morning the next day.
How long is that period?
We would go, like, a semester I think would last maybe 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And then we would have a break where we would just work, and we would graduate, we would get a pay raise. And then
so is trade school only 1 year?
No. It depends on like what union you're in and what, because there's different types of electricians. So I'm sound and communications. I usually only work on low voltage, and then there's inside wiremen, there's transportation. Am I drawing a blank?
So you learn all of those in school, and then you get to decide once you graduate which specific.
No, you pick before you go.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You pick so you had a leg up because you knew from your dad, right? Like what?
I just liked the idea of sound because it's more like technical. It's a lot of brain work versus like, you know, brunt work, which I realized I didn't really like at the Carpenters Union. But it's a lot of thinking.
Fascinating. Okay, so when you graduated, did you already have a job lined up because of the trade school, or did you just apply to different companies? Like, how does that work?
So for IBW, you don't have to solicit your own work. They find a job for you.
Oh, you have an agent, basically.
Basically. So the way the union works, as far as work goes, when I say you start working right away, like you start working right away. There's what we call the books, and you sign the books.
Okay.
Which is like a list, and then contractors that are under contract with IBEW call them, and they're like, hey, we need like 40 guys. We need 20 apprentices and 10 journeymen sent
A journeyman?
Journeyman is like what you are when you graduate trade school.
That's the most Lewis and Clark shit I've ever heard in my life.
Do you know what IBW stands for? International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Taylor, please.
Brother.
Please.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's not like someone could look you up online and say, I want to hire Taylor for
you
this
get
job.
what you get.
So it's because you work in commercial and industrial settings, it's a company that hires your union, and then your union then pushes you out to the job sites?
Right. They train us, and then they send us out.
Okay. Do you have a guaranteed paycheck each week?
No.
Even if so you work depending on whatever job?
It's quite competitive.
Okay. 80 million questions are coming to my mind. Who do you have to brown nose to get up on the rankings? Or like, how do you make sure that you get picked? This sounds kind of like Love Island.
Getting picked is just order of... As an apprentice, you're going to get picked because you're cheap. You know what I mean? You cost less. They're going to throw you out. You're going to be working 365 days of the year.
Okay.
If they can. Once you journey out, it gets a little competitive where you need to go back to school, get your... get extra training, extra, certifications to like make you stand out in a way.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And
do you
also,
pick your rate?
Huh?
Do you pick your rate?
No, it's a flat rate.
Okay. Is that by virtue of being in a union?
Yeah, we negotiate our wages as a union.
Okay.
Like we vote on
so
it. And
everyone
everything.
gets paid the same.
Yes.
If you're a quote journeyman versus apprentices. Okay. Are you W-2? Are you 1099? Like, are you a independent contractor, or once you're in a union, everyone is W-2? It's just like a tax thing.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But
okay.
It's not. I don't think it's a 1099 though.
Okay.
But
like, do they take taxes out of your paycheck?
Yes.
What are the drawbacks of being in a union?
Sometimes it gets slow and there's no work.
Can you take non-union jobs?
No. That's part of the contract when you sign up. Like, if you are in the union, you can't work inside your means anywhere else.
So let's say...
You can get a job at a coffee shop or
just
nannying,
right?
But you can't do electrical. Like, you can't even do, like, a side hustle. If you get caught, they pull your pension.
Wow.
They take everything, yeah.
Okay. If the power went out in my unit and I hired an electrician, what are the chances that that electrician is unionized if they're working on residential?
Pretty good chance.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. I do know a lot of electricians that, they've experienced the books, just sitting on the books for like a long time, waiting for that call, waiting for that job.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have to, pay or feed their families. So they got to do what they got to do. I don't blame them.
Okay. Would you ever want to, okay, if you're in the union, don't listen. Would you ever want to leave the union to do your own thing? Like, would you ever want to have your own company?
That comes with its own instability, because the reason I joined a union in the first place and I'm not working non-union is because I'm protected under the union, especially as a woman. I need that protection.
Okay. So then when you show up to a job site and see, I was thinking you were working in homes. So I was thinking you would knock on a door and someone would answer the door and then you'd go work on the job. So when you show up to a job site, who are you reporting to? A contractor?
So there's the company you work for. So let's just say I work for Bob and Company. But the main contractor running the project, who bought the job, who bid on the job, hires Bob and Company and other contractors like the plumbers, the sprinkler fitters, the electricians, the drywallers, the painters. So the big company up top is who we work for, but we're also working for our own company, and we're also working for the union. It's crazy.
Okay. There are a lot of hands in the pot.
There is.
So then when you show up on a job site, do you ever encounter some gorgeous sexism, some misogyny?
Constantly.
Yeah. And what does that look like?
It can be as little as like, you know, it's more of a tone. Like you can ask me like, what made you, you know, choose this type of work?
Right.
But when they ask, it's like, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Like something small as that. And then like, for example, this happens a lot, especially when I'm working with someone new that I haven't worked with before. Like I'll go to pick up a ladder, something I've done hundreds of times. And they'll be like, I got it. You know, because they're just trying to be polite.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm already holding it. That's okay.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll get in an argument and be like, well, let me carry it for you. I'm like, well, why do you want to carry it for me? We're getting paid the same, bro. Yeah.
Does that kind of fuel you in this industry? Like to kind of prove
it gets me. I mean, I've become a little desensitized now. Because there's like a lot of hazing involved.
Really?
Yeah. And
because you're new, or because you're a woman, or both, or
both. Every apprentice experiences hazing. It's rough. But I feel like as a female apprentice, it's a little, I wouldn't say worse, but different. It's a different kind of demon.
Okay. Now, when you say hazing, are you like butt chugging after hours? Are you like, what does that look like?
Basically, you're just trying to prove yourself, and they make it 10 times harder. Like whoever is your foreman or your general foreman or whoever you're working for. Okay. Or you're just like a journeyman, just anyone in charge. Like they're gonna mess with you. They're gonna pull like practical jokes on you, and try and make you look dumb. Blame everything on you when it goes wrong.
Stop. How long was that hazing process? Like when did you feel like, okay, you're in the groove? People like you have your community.
I feel like it honestly never stops.
Perfect.
I feel like every time I start a new project with like a new crew, it just starts all over again. I have to prove myself. I have to prove to them that I know what I'm doing and you can take me seriously and take my direction.
Okay. So do you ever see familiar faces on different job sites?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I've actually been on the same job site as my husband.
Your husband's an electrician too?
Yes.
Same union?
Yes.
Oh! Did you meet through?
No, I actually got him into it.
How sweet. How sweet.
I was like, let's make some money together.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh. Okay, so what does a typical day look like? You wake up.
Wake up at, depending on the start time, 4 or 5 a.m.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's rough. I'm not a morning person either.
What's the like?
What am I putting on?
Yeah.
Get ready with me.
Yeah.
For my construction job.
I'm picturing like some Timberlands.
No.
Okay. Already
maybe
no?
For some. I wear either Red Wings or Irish Setter boots. You know, it's like an industry thing. You wouldn't get it.
Okay, sorry. My bad.
But yeah, work boots, like carpenter pants, like Carhartt pants.
Okay.
Some type of, or even Dickies, jeans, some, or and just like a t-shirt. Sometimes your company will provide you with t-shirts, and you get lucky. Otherwise, we have like union shirts that we wear, or just whatever the hell you got.
Okay.
That you don't mind getting fucked up.
And are you big on a hearty breakfast? I
do not eat breakfast.
That's insane. But
I have coffee, and that usually, or an energy drink, and that gets me through until lunch.
Do you shit your pants on the job site?
No, I don't.
Holding a ladder, having an energy drink and a coffee, just pumping through.
Well,
the
not
veins?
both. One or the other.
Okay.
I'm not that bad.
Sure.
Some do. Some will have 3 energy drinks in an 8-hour shift. And
I would die.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, PSA, construction workers, we need to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys.
Have a bone broth if you can.
And I get to see the aftermath because we all share like a porta potty. You know what I mean? Well, luckily, I don't have to share a porta potty with these guys as often, but
I have a question coming to my head, and I'm worried I could be feeding into the problem. If you are functioning on porta potties and you're on your period.
Yeah, that's rough. So recently, well, somewhat recently, they started passing laws, like OSHA started passing like requirements for contractors to have a separate porta potty for women on the job site because women were getting so many UTIs from sharing a porta potty with men.
No.
Yeah, because there's shit and piss everywhere.
No.
They'll piss on the toilet paper roll for fun. They're disgusting.
No, this is Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Oh my
There
God.
were days where it was like 110 degrees outside, and these porta potties hadn't been cleaned in days, and there was like if you sat down on the toilet, you would be sitting in somebody's shit.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
So thankfully, we got some, we've been able to make some changes. And actually, fun fact, Canada's IBEW just started, I don't know if they passed it already, but they're in the process, or they passed a law to require flush toilets on a job site.
Could it still be a porta potty, but just one of the flush ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can flush running water, flush toilet. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But yeah, porta potties are nasty.
What do you think is the percentage of women to men in your field?
For LA, it's a little better, but I would say it's like nationally.
Yeah.
Probably for every 100 men, there's maybe one woman.
No way.
1 or 2.
That's so bad.
2 is being generous.
God damn.
That's the crazy part too, is like, have you ever been in a situation where you are like the only one of anything?
Right.
Like I'm primarily usually the only woman on a job site.
Do you get harassed?
Yeah.
She said, yeah. Yes, I do.
I was going to say sometimes, but
yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's like, can we just put the wires and the speaker and the lug nut in peace?
Period.
We can't.
We can't.
God damn. So then when you show up on a job site, how the hell do you know what you're doing? Maybe that's a dumbass question, but like if every job is a little different and you show up and they're like, hey, can you set up this sound system? You just like know how to do that.
Everything's on the prints.
What does that mean?
Blueprints.
Oh, blueprints.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like in like the movies, like they're holding up the blueprints like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. So there's like a roadmap.
Yes. Like it tells you what needs to be where, what wire to pull, what you need to install with the wires.
Okay. And you said you're working on sound systems. So is that...
No, sound and communications. It's like data, fire alarm, fiber optics.
Whoa.
That kind of stuff. The company I'm with now just primarily does fire alarm.
Then how do you guys all delegate tasks? Like, okay, you show up to the job site, there's 10 of you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's like, okay, you do that, I'll work on the fiber optics. Like, how do you...
Okay, you know the big top dog contractor I was talking about?
Yeah.
They hire for every specific thing.
Okay.
So the company I work for does fire alarm and fire sprinklers, which are 2 different trades, but we work for the same company.
Okay.
And so sometimes we'll get a different guy that's doing fire sprinklers, and then our company will be doing the fire alarm. Sometimes we get lucky and we're both on the same job and we're like, hey, what's up?
Cute.
You know?
Cute.
But I've been on jobs before where there's 2 separate fire alarm contractors, or we know how to do fiber. I've done fiber with my company before, but a lot of the times the big boss will hire a separate contractor to do fiber. It's whoever's cheaper, honestly, or better at their job. I don't know how they decide.
That's so... And then from your perspective, I feel like from a residential standpoint, I've never worked with a contractor. I have family and friends who have. There's like always contention between the person hiring the contractor and the contractor.
There's also beef between the contractors.
Well, so that's what I was going to... Is there all... Like, does anyone like the contractor?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like, I like a contractor who isn't just sitting at their desk all day barking orders. If I see a contractor like sweeping or, walking around the job and being like, what's going on, guys, like checking in, answering questions.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
That's cool. I don't like a contractor who's just like, what are you guys doing? This happened. You fucked this up. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to send an email.
Okay.
Like, some of them don't really do anything, and they have no idea what's going on.
On the wrist? Do you ever get, like, in trouble?
I've never gotten in trouble.
Okay. I'm also picturing you, no joke, like in the walls, literally crawling on your forearms. Like, I'm picturing this being a very physically demanding job.
It can be.
Okay.
I have really easy days and I have really hard days.
So no 2 days look the same.
No. That's kind of what I love about it, though. Every day's different. New place, fresh faces.
Okay.
Quite often. So I like the change of scenery, but sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, for those hard days. I'm also picturing, like, in the dead of summer, you're outside flicking wires and shit.
Outside would be great. Inside is worse because there's no air.
AC?
Yeah, there's no AC out.
Damn.
It's hot.
And you're in those dickies.
And everybody smells.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nothing worse than working with a guy who hasn't washed his vest in 3 years.
Oh. Gentlemen, please wash your vest. It's the least we can do.
Does your wife smell you?
They probably get accustomed to it. The musk? Both. How long are your work days?
How long are they?
Yeah.
Typically 8 hours.
Okay. Because you're in a union, is that, like, surveilled?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you go over, you get overtime?
Yes. So after 8 hours, it is time and a half. And then after that, it's double time.
Okay.
So I think after 12 hours, it's double time.
And do you get to say no to a job? Like, if your union says, hey, we have this project coming up, can you say no?
If you're not with a contractor and you're on the books and you're waiting for a job and they're like, hey, do you want to take this? You can totally say no.
Can you ever not say no? Like, do you ever have
Sometimes, I don't know if they have it in place right now because they took it down for a while, but there's like a 2-strike rule. So if you say no to a job 2 times, they throw you back in the bottom.
Oh.
Which could be rough.
Because then you may not get asked to a job for
If there's like 1,000 people on the books, that could take a year and a half to get a call.
What's the longest stretch of time you've gone without having a job?
Probably 2 or 3 months.
Okay. So that means 0 pay is coming in, right?
You get unemployment.
You get unemployment through the union or through the state?
Yeah, just like anyone else
Okay.
receives unemployment.
Because you said you don't get vacation days, right? Like, you
No.
don't get... No.
We don't
So that
get
would be
vacation
unpaid.
days, which sucks because, like, if I want to go on vacation, I'm saving up for the vacation and the week of pay that I'm missing, you know?
Okay. Are you at liberty to share how much you would make on a good week?
A normal week, I make $1,400.
Okay. And that's Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not including overtime. That's just what I make.
So a, quote, good week would mean you're working fucked up hours.
40 hours. A good week would be like we work 10-hour days or a Saturday.
Okay.
But usually if I know I'm going to be working like 2 weeks of overtime, I'll go exempt. Then I get all that cash.
Oh, well, yeah.
Just for like the 2 weeks, I'll go exempt.
Okay.
Take it all, baby.
Absolutely. So then is the flip side of being in a union, if you were not a part of a union, let me say union one more time, that then you would be able to potentially make more money just less frequently? Like if you, because you wouldn't have a cap on your pay, right? So like if you worked as an independent,
Yeah.
sure you could make more money, but then you don't have all the protections, right?
Or the benefits.
Right. You'd have to go out and get your own health insurance, no pension.
And the insurance that we get through the union is like really good.
I always hear that with unions.
Yeah, my husband broke his foot earlier this year. He paid $30 for everything. Everything.
Wow. Can you ever get a raise?
Yeah. You can become a foreman, a general foreman.
Okay.
There's like specifically in my company, you can get like Reg 4 certified, which is for like testing fire alarm equipment. You could be an engineer. Like there's different walls to climb.
Okay. And are you climbing a wall right now, or do you feel comfortable where you're at? Both?
I feel very comfortable where I'm at, which
Okay.
means it's time for me to think about
What's
bigger and
next?
better things.
Okay.
So next step for me would be working for the city or DWP.
We need to. I just had another stroke. We need to talk about DWP.
Okay.
I got so riled up in that moment that I lost my verbal. I just because in my experience as a consumer, I feel so much tension, whether that's physical, emotional, psychosexual, who knows, between DWP and independent electricians.
Okay.
Example, we in our unit, it's 3 units sharing one, I'm not going to know the right word, but we would have frequent power outages. DWP is blaming the electrician who set up the boxes. The electrician is blaming the tree that has the conductors 5,000 in the fucking with the squirrels, and no one wants to take accountability.
Who would?
So within...
It's like when you get in a car accident. If you take accountability, you're paying for it. You know what I mean? No one's going to fess up.
Right. But I'm assuming DWP, it's such a big company. Like, why would... What's in it for them? That individual wouldn't be paying for it, right? Like, it wouldn't be coming out of their check to say, oh, the box is messed up.
If you're with a private contractor, you would be paying for it. DWP, if it's like... If they're out there, they're usually taking care of it.
Do you have beef with DWP?
I haven't personally had any problems with them.
Okay. Would you ever want to work for them?
Absolutely.
And what's the benefit of that over where you're at now?
Even better pay, even better benefits, and paid time off.
Okay. Is it competitive to work for them?
What do you mean?
Like,
yeah, it's hard to get in.
Really?
A lot of people wait years. Or a lot of people apply, they take the test to do the interview, and they still wait years, and they never hear back, and then they have to do the whole process all over again.
Shit.
It's stupid competitive.
And then within DWP, is it the same thing where, like, you would still be in sound and communication? Or would you be working on residential sites? Do you have a say?
You would be hired as, like, a communications electrician. So there's, like, different terminology, but they require, like, a certain amount of hours doing what I do now. You know what I mean? So the IBW would be like the step before that.
Okay.
Like, you need to do IBW to get the experience to do that.
Okay. I'm going to ask a really crazy question.
Bring it.
Have you ever been electrocuted?
No. Electrocuted means you passed.
What?
That means you died. If you get electrocuted, you're dead. It's fatal.
But so are we just using that word improperly?
Yes. I've been shocked. Yes.
Okay.
It was like 120 volts though. It was scary, and it was just like, oh gosh.
And like, you felt it in your whole body?
The ladder was shaking.
No.
I was like, oh fuck.
No.
Yeah.
And how long does that last?
Maybe a few seconds.
Oh my god. Do you know anyone who's been properly electrocuted?
No.
Okay. In my head, I'm like, what a cartoonish way to go. I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No, for real.
But, like, you know what I mean?
Well, also, like, we are trained so hard. Like, we are butt fucked on safe. Like, we are...
Yeah.
Be safe.
You know.
You need to be safe.
Yep.
You know
so
what I
you never,
mean?
like, cross the blue wire with the red... You know.
We, like, apprentices aren't allowed to touch anything that's hot, meaning energized, until they are journeyed out. So for 3 or 5 years, like, you're not even touching anything that's energized. Like, that's how crazy safe we are.
How do you know if it's hot unless you touch it?
There's special testers for it.
Like little wands and shit.
Yeah, it does look like a little wand. It looks like a lipstick.
How cute.
And it lights up if it's energized.
If there's energy going. Wow. Okay, now that you're in this role, in this job, do you look at the world differently? Like, do you look at the world through an electrical lens of how things are powered and how things work and all of the systems that go into place? Or are you just like, meh, whatever?
I was on my honeymoon, and, like, me and my husband were looking up at the ceiling in our hotel room, in our honeymoon suite, and it was, like, exposed electrical.
Oh.
And we were just like, we couldn't even enjoy ourselves. It just looked like shit.
Stop.
Or, like, we'll go to a restaurant and we'll just be like, look at that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It is a little different now.
Okay.
But it's just more of like a judgy, like, I wouldn't do that. Must have been non-union.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Damn.
But I mean, we do take pride in our work.
Okay.
We're trained to,
Okay.
so we like to
When-
make things pretty.
Power outages happen in your area. Do you get a little riled up because you're like, I can jump in and step in?
I've never thought that. No, I'm just like, it's someone else's problem.
It's
Not my
someone else.
job. I'm not getting paid to deal with this.
No.
Not my job.
Fascinating. Are you ready for some trivia?
Bring it.
I got 3 questions for you. I'm going to rapid fire. I'm going to send you the answers through the brainwaves, through the electrical brainwaves. Number 1. What U.S. state is it illegal to fall asleep in a cheese factory?
Wisconsin?
No, but that's a good guess.
I'm
'cause
thinking
they're known for
cheese.
South Dakota.
I
Who'da
feel like
thought?
that's not real.
Hey, let's fucking fight with the internet. What fish is capable of generating an electrical charge of up to 600 volts? This felt very fitting for our
A
conversation.
fish?
Uh-huh.
And it's not like an eel?
It is! Come on, girl!
Come on, I'm smart.
What's a single strand of spaghetti called?
A noodle?
A spaghetto.
Shut up.
Isn't that cute?
That's really cute.
It's so darling.
Do you ever snack on just dry spaghetti?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Do you?
Sometimes. I like the crunch.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
A little embarrassing, but yeah.
Like, are we talking like a rigatoni, like a spaghetti
Just
strand,
like regular
a
spaghetti.
spaghetto?
Like, I'm making spaghetti, or, you know, back in the day, my mom's making spaghetti. The bag's open. I'm stealing one of those. I'm
What's the flavor? Null? Anything?
noodle.
Mm,
The flavor is noodle, but crunchy.
okay. You know what? Teach his own. Do you have any other snack combos you want to?
No, not that
No.
I'm willing to share.
Okay. We'll keep that private. That's an inside thought. So can you give any electrical advice to someone who maybe just bought a house for the first time? Is there anything where like you absolutely should check this, you should upgrade this, never skimp on this system?
I would say definitely hire a housing inspector that has great reviews, that will be thorough, especially if it's a new construction, like it's a new building. Definitely have them look through everything, because trust no one. You don't want to move into a house that has, you know, rats that's been chewing on the wires, and
Yeah.
then just one day they finally get through, you know. That would smell.
Smell.
Like the rat will get fried.
Ooh.
Or
Okay.
you won't have power, and everything in your fridge will rot one way or another.
There
it
will be
smell.
a smell from something.
There will be a smell.
Okay. Okay.
So just get it thoroughly inspected,
okay. Okay.
especially if you have no idea what's going on.
Maybe.
Somebody does.
Let me tell you something. I should never be allowed to own any property of any sort, even an outhouse.
You can own the property. Just hire someone that you trust to look through it and tell you that it's fucked up.
Okay. But that's so involved. I mean, I can't imagine how many wires are in a home. I mean, can you see everything in the walls? Like, do they go through
There's a
every
point A and a point B everywhere. So there's like a main panel.
Okay.
Hopefully that looks good.
Is that the thing with all the flips and switches on it?
Yeah, the dip switches and all that. There,
okay.
hopefully that looks good.
Okay.
But the point B is, you know, wherever it's being landed, like at a switch or at a box in your attic.
Okay. Okay.
Just have someone crawl up there and look at it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with you being an electrician, do you feel like you are handy in other areas of your life? Like, are you also, yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Definitely.
Like, can you low-key dabble in some plumbing? Are you like...
High key.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, knowing that I can do this
Yeah.
has just like opened up like a world. Is like, I can do anything, honestly. Even if I have to learn through YouTube. Like, if I have a broken like faucet or if a leaky faucet, I'm fixing it myself. Like, I'm not going to pay somebody else.
I
can figure it
When was
out.
the last time you hired either like a TaskRabbit or some... It's been a minute. Also, between you and
I
your
personally
husband?
never have.
Now, do you and your husband ever butt heads? Like with either who's going to fix what, you did a bad job, let me do it, I'm better. Like, does it ever...
Sometimes it gets a little heated. Like, if we're both working on something and I'm like, especially if like I know more about it, I'll just get, I guess, impatient or frustrated.
Okay.
Because he's not getting it right away. But then I have to like humble myself and be like, wait a minute, this was me at one point. Like, I have no idea. I had no idea what this was.
Okay. Are
like,
you
who
kind
cares
of like
if he's
the apprentice? No, he's the apprentice. No. Is the apprentice the one who's learning, or
Yes.
he's the apprentice?
In other situations, because he does know electrical and like he knows like welding and stuff, but he's never really worked on like inside wireman work, which is like basic housing wires and stuff like that. He's
and
done
that's
like
your specialty.
He's done like no.
Oh.
I'm the same exact thing as him on paper, but I have more experience growing up with my family, just because my dad, we did like a whole room addition on our house growing up. Like I learned from a very young age how to be handy and fix things, carpentry, plumbing, roofing, electrical. Like I've already kind of had somewhat of experience, or I've watched him do it.
Would you ever want to be a contractor?
No. I don't know. That's not anything I've ever considered.
Okay. Is this an industry where you learn far more being in the field than at school?
You don't really learn anything at school.
School is just like safety.
At least in my experience.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the reason people are in the trades in the first place is because they didn't do good at school, or they didn't like school.
Was that you?
I hated school.
Okay.
I can't sit still.
And you probably like to work with your hands, huh?
I do. Yeah. And so even trade school, like, yes, it's relevant to the career that I chose, but I'm still not able to sit and stare at somebody talk or read out of a book for 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, I learn by fucking up. I learn by watching somebody else do it.
Yeah.
I learn by doing it myself. That's just how it's always been.
You're so badass.
Thanks.
You're like, I know. Okay, you made it. You survived. We have the last question that I ask everyone, and it is, what do you wish more people understood about you?
Understood about me.
And I always say that that can be within the context of you as an electrician, as a female electrician, as Taylor.
I wish more people understood my bedtime. Do not hit me up during the week at 8 p.m. asking me to go to the bar with you.
Yep.
I'm asleep already.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
for
as
the
simple as
weekend.
that. How about that? I love it. Okay, you are fabulous. I just obviously have 18 million more questions to ask, and they're going to be borderline autistic.
That's for another episode.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a follow-up. You're a delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.